offering his life a splendor of sacrifice, a rapt solicitor for her love and grace. His bliss in her to him is his whole world. He grows through her in all his being's powers. He reads by her God's hidden aim in things.
Yeah, I would change the last line a little bit. He reads by her God's hidden aim in things.
Oh, he reads by God's hidden aims in
He-
things.
did- yeah, did you get it? He
Yes,
reads by her God's hidden aim in things.
yes,
Because the Purushottama does not do anything.
mm,
He just supports and we can say even encourages the work of the Supreme Shakti.
mm. A rapt solicitor for her love and grace, his blessing in her to him is his whole world.
Yeah,
He
so
grows.
we have two words here. We have a rapt. Rapt means entranced, actually, deeply engrossed or absorbed. But entranced is a good word. Transported with emotion, enraptured. That's rapt. And a solicitor, of course, is one who asks a favor or pleads. An advocate is a solicitor also. So he is a rapt solicitor for her love and grace, and his bliss in her to him is his whole world. And now we'll continue.
He grows through her in all his being's power. He reads by her God hidden aim in things.
So it's an interesting line that he grows through her in all his being's powers. So this is the game that is being played out with us on earth. And therefore, to experience himself in greater dimensions, he grows through her in all his being's powers. And he reads by her God's hidden aim in things. Now he's going to continue and say, or.
Mhm. Or a courtier in her countless retinue.
Retinue,
Retinue. Okay.
retinue.
Or a courtier in her countless retinue, content to be with her and feel her near. He makes the most of the little that she gives, and all she does drapes with his own delight.
So a courtier is a person who attends like a king or another royal personage. And retinue is an attendant. So these are very similar words, courtier and retinue.
Oh,
An attendant that accompanies a high ranking person, that's a retinue, a retainer.
okay.
So he is one of the others or even both of them. And he's content to be with her and feel her near.
Hmm.
But also he adds to that, he makes the most of the little that she gives. And all she does drapes with his own delight. Drapes here is covers, like a drape, it covers with his own delight. And he continues on yet. There's much more.
Mhm. A glance can make his whole day wonderful. A word from her lips with happiness wings the hours.
How beautiful. Wings, flies the hours, soars the hours.
Okay.
So a glance can make his whole day wonderful. Even a word from her lips with happiness wings the hours. You know, he used to meet with mother in the early morning and tell her all the things he had written that night in Savitri.
Mm.
And mother said they were exactly my experiences that night.
Wow.
So let's carry on.
A word, sorry. He leans on her for all he does and is. He builds on her largesses, his proud fortunate days, and trails his peacock plumaged joy of life, and suns in the glory of her passing smile.
So a largesse is the generous bestowal of gifts. Sometimes money, sometimes favors. But that largesse is a very important word. He builds on her largesses, his proud, fortunate days, and even trails his peacock plumage, I would say plumage, not plumage, but plumage.
Plumage.
Yeah, his peacock plumage, joy of life, and even suns in the glory of her passing smile.
Okay.
Well, we see how he, uh, well, I don't want to say it yet because we're going to get it in one moment. So you have to read the next four lines.
Sure. In 1,000 ways, he serves her royal needs. He makes the hours pivot around her will, makes all reflect her whims. All is their play. His whole wide world is only he and she.
One of the great lines for everyone in Savitri,
Mhm.
that this whole wide world, look at the alliteration, whole wide world is only he and she. So he serves Prakriti's royal needs. He even makes the hours pivot around her will, makes all reflect her whims, her fancies. And then he says, after that semicolon, all is their play. And lastly, he ends it with, this whole wide world is only he and she. And now he's going to go into this extremely important part of the book because he wants us to know, and Mother has told us, if you see Sri Aurobindo different from me, or me different from Sri Aurobindo, you are not seeing at all. We are absolutely one. And this is what he's going to tell us next.
This is the knot that ties together the stars. The two who are one are the secret of all power. The two who are one are the might and right in things.
So, they are the knot that ties together the stars, Mother and Sri Aurobindo. They are also the might and right in things. So he'll continue on telling us what he is and what the supreme creatrix is. His soul,
His soul, silent, supports the world and her. His acts are her commandments' registers.
so a commandment is a divine command, and a register is a kind of official recording of different things. So all her acts, all his acts, are
Mhm.
her commandments registers. They're set down in writing, they're a record. And now he's going to go into a very, very important passage where he speaks of offering his breast for the Divine Mother's dance. Okay, happy?
Yes. Happy, inert, he lies beneath her feet. His breast he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are the quivering theatre, and none could bear but for his strength within. Yet none would leave because of his delight.
Yeah, I would say his breast he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are the quivering theater. So he's speaking of our lives on this tremulous, shaking slightly theater. So it's a play with us uh, in their game, and none of us could bear this except for our own strength within, and yet none of us would leave. He says, yet none would leave because of his delight. So we couldn't bear it if we didn't have that strength within, yet none would leave because of his delight. Ashwari, 7%. Begin with his works.
Narad sir, one question I wanted to ask you.
Yes,
So, um, is this in reference to the dance of Shiva and Shakti, where uh, Shakti, after defeating a demon, was unstoppable, and then Shiva laid himself below her, and only when she was able to put her leg on Shiva's breast, that's when he was able to she was able to control herself. I'm not too sure if uh, this
well,
was
you see,
have.
the similarity is here,
Uh-huh.
and it's very powerful, extremely powerful.
Yes, yes.
But it is the story of he and she.
His works, his thoughts have been devised by her. His being is a mirror, vast of verse, active, inspired by her. He speaks and moves. His deeds obey her heart's unspoken demands. Passive, he bears the impact of the world, as if her touches shaping his soul and life. His journey through the days is her sun march. He runs upon her roads. Hers is his course.
Yes. So it's very interesting because his works and his thoughts have been devised by her. And you see, the Supreme Purushottama does not have any works to do. Everything is done through the Divine Mother. So now he's telling us that whatever works, whatever thoughts he has, have been devised by the mother. And then he says his being is a mirror, is a vast mirror of her being,
Mm-hmm.
active, inspired by her. He speaks and moves. So now we're seeing something that's a little different here because he is speaking and moving, only becoming active when he is inspired by her. But even his deeds obey the unspoken demands of her heart. And then he says passive, so not active here, passive. He bears the impacts of the world, the impressions, the effects of the world on one thing or another, as if her touches shaping his soul and life. And you see how intricately bound they are as one, with different aspects in this journey into life. Because above this, above the supramental, there's no activity.
Mm-hmm.
They've only taken on this activity because they are working through us on the earth. And his journey, his journey through the days is her sun march. And he runs upon her roads. Hers is his course. So he's we see constantly Sri Aurobindo is telling us what each of them have accepted as their work. Now, there are many, many occult practices in India that say that there are many uh, Purushas. But Sri Aurobindo says ultimately there's only one, and that is Purushottama. And so we're seeing exactly what both of them have chosen to do in this game. And there's much more, so please continue. A
Sure.
witness,
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. A witness and student, her joy and dole, a partner in her evil and her good.
evil,
He has
evil.
evil, sorry, a partner in her evil and her good. He has consented to her passionate ways. He is driven by her sweet and dreadful force.
So we have the first word, dole. Dole
Though,
here is different than the dole we normally say is like a handout. Here it means grief or sorrow. So he's a witness and he's also a student of her joy and sorrow. He's a partner in her evil and her good. And this is what we've talked about many times in the past, that the divine can be evil if he wishes, because he's the divine. He's everything. And most religions, especially Christianity, Islam, Judaism, always separate the two. There's the divine and there's the devil.
hmm,
But it's not so in this yoga or even in the highest yogas. They acknowledge that he is a partner in her evil and her good. And he has even consented to her passionate ways. Because when the Divine Mother, or we can even say the Divine Mother limiting herself, becoming Gaia, or nature, has very passionate ways. She's always creating and destroying. And so the dinosaurs had their moment on Earth when she no longer needed them and found a greater um, and newer plan, she destroyed them. And therefore, he has consented to her passionate ways. Even he's driven even by her sweet and dreadful force. Now he's going to tell us something else.
His sanctioning name initials all her works. His
Yes.
silence.
Sorry, I have to go to the next page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. His
His
silence.
silence is his signature to her deeds. In the execution of her dream scheme, in
Of her
her
drama, of her
oh, sorry,
dramas.
drama scheme. Okay. In the execution of her drama scheme, in her fancies of the moment and its mood, in the march of his obvious ordinary world, where all is deep and strange to the eyes that see, and nature's common forms are marble webs. She threw his witness, she through his witness sight and motion of might unrolls the material of her cosmic art, her happenings.
Oh,
That
okay. So let's slow down here because,
okay,
okay.
it's a
Um,
long line, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, it's long and you made a couple of, it's not art, but it's acts.
of her cosmic act. Yeah,
Act, not art.
act.
And
Sorry,
yeah, and you can continue then. Her happenings.
her happenings that exalt and smile the soul, her force that moves, her powers that save and slay, her words that in the silence speaks to our hearts, her silence that transcends the summit world, her heights and depths to which our spirit moves, her events that weave the texture of our lives, and all by which we find or lose ourselves, things sweet and bitter, magnificent and mean, things terrible and beautiful and divine.
Well, it's a long, long passage, and let's discuss it next week. But can you read the whole thing from the page where we began?
Sure. Page 62. Yeah.
Yes.
A rapt solicitor for her love and grace, his bliss in her to him is his whole world. He grows through her in all his being's powers. He reads by her God's hidden aim in things, or a courtier in her countless retinue, content to be with her and feel her near. He makes the most of the little that she gives, and all she does drapes with his own delight. A glance can make his whole day wonderful. A word from her lips with happiness wings the hours. He leans on her for all he does and is. He builds on her largess his proud fortunate days, and trails his peacock plumage, joy of life, and suns in the glory of her passing smile. In 1,000 ways, he serves her royal needs. He makes the hours pivot around her will, makes all reflect her whims, all is their play. This whole wide world is only he and she. This is the knot that ties together the stars. The two who are one are the secret of all power. The two who are one are the might and right in things. His soul, silent, supports the world and her. His act are her commandments registers. Happy, inert, he lies beneath her feet. His breast he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are the quivering theatre, and none could bear but his strength within, yet none would leave because of his delight. His works, his thoughts have been devised by her.
Good.
Being is a mirror vast of hers. Active, inspired by her, he speaks and moves. His deeds obey her heart's unspoken demands. Passive, he bears the impact of the world, as if her touches shaping his soul and life. His journey through the days is her sun march. He runs upon her roads, hers is his course. A witness and student of her joy and dole, a partner in her evil and her good. He has consented to her passionate ways. He is driven by her sweet and dreadful force. His sanctioning name his sanctioning name initials all her works. His silence is his signature to her deeds. In the execution of her drama scheme, in her fancies of the moment and its mood, in the march of his obvious ordinary world, where all is deep and strange to the eyes that see, and nature's common forms are marble webs. She, through his witness sight and motion of might, unrolls the material of her cosmic act, her happenings that exalt and smite the soul, her force that moves, her powers that save and slay, her word that is the silence speak to our hearts, her silence that transcends the summit world, her
Word,
heights
word, word.
world, sorry, her silence that transcends the summit world,
No,
her
word, word.
world, world,
Not world, word.
yeah, world, yeah, no L, okay,
Okay.
her, her heights and depths to which our spirits moves, her events that weave the texture of our lives, and all by which we find and lose ourselves,
Or lose ourselves.
and all by which we find or lose ourselves, things sweet and bitter, magnificent and mean, things terrible and beautiful and divine. Sure, Nancy. Thanks a lot.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.